Hey everybody, how you doing? Joe for the Joe Wentz Project here, and I just want to go over a few things real quick. Nothing fancy. So if you're new at playing guitar, you're just getting your feet wet. There's a few things that I'd like to pass along to you that might help you a little bit. And everything here is subjective, okay? So it's not set in stone. It's whatever you prefer, whatever you like. First, a guitar. Naturally, you don't have to spend a lot of money on a first guitar. Let's say this guitar I've had for many years, and it's an OLP. It looks just like the Music Man, like what Eddie played in the '90s when it came out. In the mid to late '90s. This guitar cost me $200. No, it doesn't have a Floyd Rose, and it doesn't have a locking nut, but it plays great. And I think it looks cool. $200. So I jumped on it. Also, too, tuners. Getting a tuner is very important. You have your typical tuner that you plug your cable in and plug into the jack and tune your guitar. Use those for years. But what I've really liked now, and I'm sure everybody has them, is the clip-on tuner, and it's made by Snark. It is a Snark tuner, and it just clips onto your headstock. First you press that button and you cut it on, and you can see it's on, okay? And you just clip it on like so, like that right there. And you go through each string, and you tune it. That one's a little sharp. So we'll do like so. That's good. And you just go through each string, and it's real quick, simple, and I love it. I love because it lights up, it illuminates. My old tuner, it didn't light up like this. It was just, you had to have the lights on pretty good to be able to see it. This one here, no problem. The only thing is when you get done, you got to be sure and cut it off. And it's good. And it takes one of those flat batteries, kind of like a watch battery, but it's about the size of a quarter. And so you tune it up that quick, and you're good to go. And I love it because it clips on right there. So let's say if you're playing a gig in between songs, like if your singer is talking to the crowd, you can punch this on, tune it up, and you still have your volume down so nobody hears all that stuff, and it's good to go. So on to the next thing. We'll be right back. Okay, now picks. What kind of pick do you prefer? Now this is definitely different for everybody. You got some kind of flimsy picks here. You can see it's pretty flimsy. Of course, this is a Eddie Van Halen. And I'm not sure what the dimensions, how thick this is. I want to say it's like a 60 millimeter. For me, that's okay for like if you're strumming acoustic or something. Here's another one that's similar. It's kind of faded. You can't really see it. It's pretty much the same thing. It just doesn't have any stripes on it. It's not as flimsy, not as bad. But here's what I like to use. I use these all the time, and they're 1 millimeter picks, and they're by Dunlop. I don't know how good you can see that, because there we go. And it doesn't have the grip, the sandpaper type grip on it. It's hard for me to use those. This is just smooth, and it doesn't really flex too much. The one that has the like these Eddie picks, or picks similar to this, like when I'm playing and I like maybe do a pick slide or something, and I go to try to put the pick back, it always moves. I can't get it back to its original position quick enough. So I don't. For me, I've used them. They're okay, but they kind of want to get kind of hard to move around. But picks, so it's going to take you a while to find out what pick you really like. That just comes with playing, and messing around and see what's comfortable for you. Some people like a really thin pick. Some people like one that's really really thick. You know, it's just whatever you prefer. Whatever you prefer. Be right back. Hey, welcome back. So an amp. You're going to need an amp. You don't really need to spend a lot of money, you know, when you're just starting out. Maybe, you know, 100, 150 bucks, 200 tops, if that's really what you want. If you don't want to go that route and you want something a little smaller because, you know, you're just learning, you know, something like this would be great. This is a Black Star. I think it's a 3-watt amp. It's got some built-in effects on it, like, well, delay. It's got an EQ and all that cool stuff. I really enjoy it. I did a video on this a while back on my channel, and it's fully battery powered, you know, and it works great. I use it a lot, you know, just for tinkering around, maybe warming up, you know, something like that. Strings. Eventually, you're going to need some strings. You know, sooner or later, you're going to break a string on your guitar. You need to learn how to put on some strings, and it's not hard. There's plenty of videos on YouTube that will teach you how to change strings. It's not hard. Believe me, it's not hard. These are the strings I like to use. EVH gauge 9 to 42. I love those strings. You know, they're very cool. VanHalenStore.com has them. And I've always liked gauge 9 strings. They're not, you know, they're not too heavy, but they're not too thin. I have used gauge 10. Of course, the higher you go in gauge, the thicker the string, and eventually the harder it is to make that string move when you want to do some vibrato or a bend. You know, that's a whole nother subject altogether. But they actually make some that are lighter than this, but that's just too light. You know, especially if your guitar is equipped with a Floyd Rose tremolo or something like that, it's going to probably slip back and forth up there on the locking nut, and it's, you know, not going to stay. It's going to want to go in and out of tune because the strings are too thin. But for me, gauge 9, I've used those for years. Also, I love Diodario strings. I couldn't tell you how long I've been using them. It's crazy. They're excellent strings as well. So, again, it's what you prefer. You know, it's what you like and what fits you. These things you'll have to figure out for yourself as you go along playing. And like I said, there's plenty of information on YouTube, you know, internet and stuff that'll help you along the way. And believe me, I still use it too, a lot. Because, you know, it's just, with the wealth of information that's on the internet now, why not? I mean, it's right there at your fingertips, you know. Saves you a lot of time and trouble. And it's convenient as well. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Tune into my channel every Friday night for the Joe Wentz Project broadcast live. I like to have some guests on there from time to time. And we talk guitars, music, everything else in between. If you haven't heard it, go to my YouTube channel. Just type in Joe Wentz, and there's my channel right there. And go and listen to them and listen to some songs that I do. You know, check it out. And let me know if you like this video in the comments below. You know, did it help you? Did it not help you? Do you agree? Do you disagree? You know, what is it that you like? Maybe there's something I didn't mention, you know. So thank you very much for watching. This is Joe for the Joe Wentz Project broadcast. Peace out.